So we're on Daf Yud Amud Bet, 4 lines from the top. We learned last week about a person should never give up and should always ask for mercy and should always pray, even if the sword is physically on his neck. On his neck, you should never give up till the very end. Okay, so that's, and who said that? Chizkiyahu. And that's as soon as he heard what the prophet Ishayahu told him that he will die, he said, okay, I mean, Ben Amotz, okay, end your prophecy and leave. I have a different method, I have a different avenue to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and that's the prayers. Miyad, Pasuk says, as soon as he finished this conversation with Ishayahu, he turned his head and he faced the wall and he started to pray. Man says, my kir. What does it mean, kir? A kir is literally a kir is a wall. But here, what does it mean here? What does the pasuk, in other words, come to teach us? Why is it so important to tell us that he faced the wall? And of course, so what? So of course, there's something here that he wants to teach us. What does he come to teach us? He was praying from the depths of his heart, from the walls of his heart, in order to nullify this terrible decree against him. Okay, so we learn from this pasuk that the kir, wall, is referring to the heart. It's also standing for the walls of his heart. Rabbi Levi Amar al iskei הקיר. ואמר לפניו ריבונו של עולם, מה שונמית שלא עשתה אלא קיר אחת קטנה החטאת בנה, אבי אבא שחיפה את ההיכל כולו בכסף ובזהב על אחת כמה וכמה. Rabbi says he was not praying when he mentioned the kir, a wall, it meant to say that remember this wall that was associated with Shunamit. What was associated with Shunamit? As we're going to learn later on, but not very briefly.
The one with David?
Shunamit? No. We'll learn about it in a few seconds, a few minutes. Shunamit, she built a wall to separate and to keep privacy for Elisha, the prophet.
Oh.
Elisha, yeah. So,
remember.
and for that merit, Hashem revived the child. For that merit, Hashem revived the child. So Hashem accepts her praise, his praise for just one single small wall, goes up saying that Hashem will listen and accept his praise because his grandfather Shlomo HaMelech, he wrapped or covered the walls of Beit HaMikdash with gold and silver, right? So because for the merit of that, Hashem of course needs to save him from this penalty, from this terrible punishment. Decree, not penalty. Penalty. Death penalty. Yeah. Okay, the Gemara says, זכר נא את אשר התהלכתי לפניך, באמת ובלב שלם, והטוב בעיניך ועשיתי. So the Gemara says now, remember, he quotes the pasuk from Yeshaya, that Chizkiyahu was saying, remember me that I walked with you with truth and with a complete heart, and I did good things in your eyes. Now, what does it say? What does it mean that I did good in your eyes?
Talking to Hashem.
Of course, yeah. She says, what's the good thing that Chizkiyahu did? That he put together the redemption and the Shmonaiseh. Vatikin. Remember that we learned last week? Vatikin is those that recite Kriyat Shema before sunset in order for them to end the redemption and start the Amidah when the sun starts to rise. Sunrise. So that's a good thing that he did. And for the merit of this good thing, please Hashem, hear my prayers and accept my prayers. Rabbi Levi Amar, שגנז Sefer Refuot. Rabbi Levi says no. There's a different thing that he did, a very good thing. He had in those days, in his time, they had a book, and in his book there was all the medicines, all the good things. No, if a person has a sore throat, yeah,
And he
All the
put it in
herbs,
Geneva.
all the oral herbs and the different spices for a person to heal himself, to recover. And he so nobody will pray to Hashem.
Before him?
What?
Did they need it before him? 'Cause
Yeah, of
he
course.
didn't
Who
get
doesn't
sick
need?
until
Who
then.
doesn't need this book? But there was a big problem with this book, Debbie. The problem with this book was that everyone would instead of praying and asking from Hashem for Hashlema, they would go and say, okay, I will just go to this book, look at based on the numbers, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever it is, whatever illness he has, and he will trust the book, and he will less trust in Hashem. That's why Chizkiyahu did this very, I guess, it was a very tough and difficult decision, but he made this decision, and he put this book in Gniza. He didn't want people to use it.
And the third thing is that he destroyed
Okay. Now we get, since we mentioned this book, we got to the 6 things. We got the six things that three of those things, 6 things, the rabbis in his generation accept, and I praise them for that. But there was 3 different things that the rabbis didn't like. So let's read it. Tanu Rabbanan. Rabbis taught us in the Braita. There's 6 different things that Chizkiyahu, King Chizkiyahu performed it. He did. On 3 of them, the rabbis agree and accept, but there's 3 things that they didn't accept. Okay, so let's read the list. The list is as follows. There's 3 things that they accept. The first thing is Ganaz Sefer Refuot Vodulo. So as mentioned before, Rabbi Levi, that he took this book, the medicine book, and he put it in Gniza. He didn't want people to use it, so he hid it, and he put it in a place where we cannot find it until this very day. Kitat Nechash Nechoshet. The second thing is if you
With the plague.
okay, yeah, there was a plague. Am Yisrael were complaining, and Hashem punished them with snakes, that the snakes will bite them. So Am Yisrael were praying, and Moshe Rabbeinu asked from Hashem, please stop this plague. So Hashem told him, you know what to do, take a metal copper snake, put it in the middle of the camp, and whoever will look at the snake, he will recover from the poison, the snake poison, or whatever it is.
The venom. Was an interesting pun on God's part.
It'll be the venom.
Venom.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's not. It's something in the.
But it was also a pun. I mean, Hashem pun too.
Yeah.
They're all over the Navi. There are all these puns where he uses similar words that to describe things. And
Yeah, but this is not. This is a real snake. Anyway, the Gemara says Vaudulo.
yeah, real snake out of real Nechoshet.
And the third thing is,
Okay, so why was it even an argument or even a thing that they should praise him? If people will follow it, and it's idol worship, it's avodah zarah. So we explain one of the reasons is because since it was created by the commandment of Hashem, so they said, how can we destroy something that Hashem commanded Moshe Rabbeinu, asked him to build this snake, this copper snake. So no, Chizkiyahu made this decision and said, no, we have to ruin it because people think it's avodah zarah. Okay, Gimel. The third thing is Girar atzmot aviv al mita shel chavarim. So he dragged his father on a bed of ropes, and he didn't take him. The funeral was not like the rest of the kings, where they put them on beds of gold and silver, but he really did it because he wanted to Hashem to atone his sins, and that's why he disrespect body by dragging him on this bed of ropes. And Hashem would there was two goals here. First, he wanted Hashem to forgive him for his sins, for his terrible sins, and Chaz Hamelech was wicked and king. But the second thing is he wanted to have this incident as an impact on the people, on the wicked people of his generation, to see what happens for those that do bad things in their lifetime. And the rabbis, despite the fact that it looked like a terrible thing to do, the rabbis accept that and agree. But that's the end of that's the end of what the rabbis agreed with what he did. And now we're starting with the three things that the rabbis didn't like. So there was a river, there was a channel that was going through next to Yerushalayim, and when Sennacherib, the king of Ashur, was about to start the war against the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, so Chizkiyahu said, I want to block the upper section of the river, and I don't, because I don't want the soldiers to have any benefit or to drink from this channel, from this river. Enemy soldier, of course. The rabbis didn't like it for multiple reasons. One of the reasons because it also affects the people in Yerushalayim. Okay, you're blocking the river, you're not letting them drink, but it also affects us, and that's why we cannot drink now. So that's why the rabbis didn't like it. And some argue and say no, the reason it was because it was trying too much, right? We learn on Shabbat that Yosef was in the pit, in the jail for 2 more years because he asked from he asked from Samashkim to remind him to mention his name in front of Paro, and that's why he was punished and he stayed in prison for 2 more years. 2 more years. So everyone is asking Ishtadlut. The Ishtadlut there's a limit to Ishtadlut, right? If you do too much, then there's the emunah. Then you're taking away from your emunah, trusting in Hashem. So it's always important to know and to be aware of the balance between trusting in Hashem and trying. And he did too much. By blocking the water, it was too much. Okay. קיצץ דלתות היכל, ושגרם למלך אשור ולא הודו לו. He took down the wall, the doors that was covered was gold, and he sent it to the king of Ashur to appease him, because he didn't want him to fight. It's a bribe, of course, yeah. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want him to fight against him. And the rabbis say, hey, don't do it. Now, why? For the same reasons. Trust in Hashem. Right? Okay. Finally.
Was that Samchera?
Yes, yeah.
It was the time of Samchera when he was defeating
the
northern tribe.
The king of Ashur, yeah. The last one is Ibar Nisan ben Nisan Lo Dulo. Yeah. So the story was he wanted to postpone the Chag Pesach. Why? Because many people were contaminated, and they couldn't because they were holding the bed of his father Achaz, and they will not be able to become pure until Pesach. Yeah. By the way, that's why we have Pesach Sheni. The second Pesach is for those that are Tmei Mitim, those that are contaminated. So that was the situation. People were carrying his father's bed, and many of them were contaminated. You say, you know what? I'm going to make this year a leap year, right? And on the face of it, now you understand. Right now, you understand that it was a Nisan, okay? And the rabbis say, hey, you cannot do it. Why? You're not allowed to make a simple year, a leap year on Chodesh Nisan. It's done. It's finished.
You should have decided already.
You should have decided before Nisan and not on Nisan. But on the face of it,
in Shvat.
Adar Shvat, yeah. But on the face of it, it looks like a very simple halacha. Chodesh Zem, Rosh Chodeshim, Rosh Chodesh Hashana. So it's Nisan, and how can you make a simple year a leap year? So that's what he's asking. Umilet lechizkiyahu u'chodesh zelachem rosh chodeshim. Ze Nisan v'achar Nisan. So didn't Chizkiyahu know? It's very simple halacha that Chodesh Nisan, the month of Nisan, is Rosh Chodesh, meaning after Rosh Chodesh, it's done. You cannot make it a leap year. It's Chodesh Nisan. Okay? So how can you make Chodesh Nisan, Chodesh Adar, if already we declared that it's Chodesh Nisan? The man says no. The story was different. אלא טעה בידי שמואל. טעה שמואל, אין מעברין את השנה ביום ה-30 של אדר. הואיל וראוי לקבעו בניסן. סבר, הואיל וראוי לא אמונה. So, he was really not, it was not really Chodesh Nisan. Of course, all agree, and Chizkiyahu was aware of this halacha, that if once we declare and we start Chodesh Nisan, then you cannot make it a leap year, right? Because it's Pasuk. But they were not standing on Chodesh Nisan. At that point, they were on the 13th day of Adar, where theoretically it could be Nisan if two witnesses will come and will sanctify the month.
Yet, then.
But it was not Chodesh Nisan. And that's the argument between Chizkiyahu and the statement of Shmuel later on. One says that...
Well, as in Rav and Shmuel.
Yeah, but later on, of course. But Shmuel is the first one to mention this halacha. But Chizkiyahu was holding that I don't care that this day theoretically can become Nisan if two witnesses would come and say that they saw the moon and we're going to sanctify this day to start month of Nisan. One second. Because, yeah, but it could be.
The 30th.
The 30th.
Oh, I thought you said the 13th.
Sorry, not the 30th, yeah.
The 30th
Of Adar, correct, yeah. So since it could theoretically become Nisan, Shmuel says, okay, you're not allowed to make this month, make this year a leap year. Why? Because it could be Nisan, and it says Chodesh Zelachem. Chizkiyahu says, no, I don't care that it could be Chodesh Nisan. Since it's still Adar, I can still make this year, the simple year, as a leap year. And that was the argument between Chizkiyahu and Shmuel. And the rabbis did not agree with this approach, and they hold that since it could become Chodesh Nisan, it is considered like Chodesh Nisan. Okay? So we'll stop here, and we'll Bezat Hashem continue with Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Mishum Rabbi Yossi Bar Zimra.